It's 2 for, well, Friday. Well, it doesn't work as well, but that's all right. 2 for Tuesday on Friday as we close out the Queen 1 Collector's Edition box set revisitings. Next on Crown Jewels. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to PLD Projects Crown Jewels. I'm your host, PLD. Crown Jewels is the podcast where I take you through the entirety of the Queen catalog, song by song, version by version, as we try to figure out which is the best version or the titular Crown Jewel version of every song to slide into an ultimate playlist. I give you notes, I give you quotes, I give you songs ratings, we talk about it, but this is the end of an era now. We are into the end of an era. A few weeks back now, well, quite a few weeks back now, we started a revisiting. We had been going through the entirety of the catalog. We had made it all the way up to the Flash Gordon soundtrack, and we were a couple of tracks in on that when Queen released the Queen 1 Collector's Edition box set, which lo and behold had so many new versions for us to listen to, I couldn't let that pass without revisiting them and see if any of the new versions could become the crown jewel versions of songs from the 1973 original album. This is the last one for now. I did make mention before of doing See What a Fool I've Been. Last week I think I said I was going to do See What a Fool I've Been, the only track remaining to be listened to on this podcast, but I decided to change my mind. I'm not going to listen to that yet, because Brian May did say they are working on a box set for Queen 2, where the track See What a Fool I've Been resides on, as a B-side to one of those songs. So I think I will wait for now, and if the box set doesn't come out by the end of the year, we'll have a one-off revisiting to see if the tried take of the See What a Fool I've Been that was released on this box set could possibly become the new crown jewel of See What a Fool I've Been from Queen 2. So instead, I'm going to tackle 2 tracks this week, 2 tracks to finish out the box set, because we only have the 2 tracks to listen to. We have Hangman and I'm a Man. So Hangman, I did do an episode for way back when we were going through the first album initially. We only had an unreleased version, so a bootleg version to talk about. So this is the first time we get to listen to a full, officially released version live from San Diego in 1976. This is also the first official release version of the cover of I'm a Man. I haven't even given this an episode at all, so I'm going to do this a little dirty by only sliding it in with Hangman, but it is a cover track. It is a live cover track, so I didn't feel too badly about it. I did mention the track during the Day at the Races tour episode, because that's where they did play this as well as the full band. This version, of course, is the other track from the Live at the Imperial College from August of 1970 concert that was mythically found back in 2021, or at least mentioned to be found by Brian in 2021, that we actually got tracks of, the other being Jesus from this same album. So we're going to listen to both these tracks today and see, well, there's no seeing about it. They are the crown jewels. I mean, I guess you could say Hangman had a chance with one of the bootlegs, but the Hangman bootlegs were never the greatest sounding versions to begin with. So if I'm going to listen to Hangman now, I'm going to listen to the 2024 box set version of Live in San Diego from 1976. But we will listen to them both, and I will give brief descriptions on this kind of short episode this week to close out the box set. So without further ado, we're going to do that. And how do we do that? Well, I don't want to get copyright struck. So what we're going to do is you look in the show notes, the description on the video, you'll find a link to a Google Doc. On that Google Doc, you'll find links to YouTube versions. So when I tell you to, you'll pause me, click on the YouTube version, listen to it, you come back, you unpause me, and we'll go from there. So first up, we're going to take on Hangman. So pause me, find Hangman live from San Diego 1976, and come back for more. All right, welcome back. As I said before, previously, you want to go back and listen to the Hangman episode for more of a full-on breakdown with credits and the background and all that kind of stuff. I'll give you a little background. This was a mythical song for the Queen fan base. For years, the band denied its existence as far as a studio recording goes. The band heard the concert versions. The fans heard the concert versions. There was a Queen collector who claimed to have an acetate version of a recording of it in the studios. It's kind of a, did this occur? Or this exist? Did this not exist? We weren't really sure. I can really confidently say now, after this box set release, that if it wasn't on this box set, the studio version, then it doesn't exist, or at least the band definitely doesn't have any copies of it for sure. If it does exist out there, perhaps it'll be unearthed someday, but I tend to doubt it. I kind of think that this was never officially recorded in the studio, or if it was deleted and not kept. So, but the band did the next best thing and gave us an actual official soundboard quality version from a 1976 San Diego concert, which is the next best thing. It's nice to have this song, which was at least definitely developed during these sessions at some point and or created during these sessions, partially at least, or before, who knows. But this is the place where you would want that to be unearthed. So I'm glad we got it. I'm really glad we got it. Now, as for this version of the song, or what this song is, I think the mythical status of it kind of has grown over the years and definitely almost overhyped the song. Because at the end of the day, is this like an amazing song? It's not really an amazing song. It's a good hard rock number. It's a good standard hard rock number. I said previously, it reminds me a little bit of Styx's Renegade. I mean, it matches up quite nicely with the other tracks of the time, the bluesier rock tracks of the time, like Son and Daughter, Jesus, even See What a Fool I've Been kind of fits that way. But I can understand why the band didn't put this on the initial album. It almost seems like it'd be too much in that direction, where Queen has always been kind of more of a varied band. They like to vary their tempo, vary their genre, give a lot of different sounds to it. However, that being said, this is a pretty good, solid rocking version of it, especially when you get to that fast speed tempo increased ending there, kind of like Stone Cold Crazy levels as we get to the high speed ending there. It's a good version of it for sure. Now, I did give this song a 7 out of 11 originally, because we always turn things up to 11 here on PLD Projects. Just like Jesus, I gave a 7. Son and Daughter, I gave a 6.5. The only reason I gave Son and Daughter a little bit less than Hangman is I kind of somewhat prefer Hangman, but I understand why Son and Daughter would be put on over Hangman as far as on the official album, because it was the track that housed Brian May's guitar solo at the time. So you kind of need to have that for Brian's guitar solo live. So regardless, this doesn't change my mind. The higher sound quality version, it doesn't make the score go up any, but it doesn't change the song any. It's just that we got a better version of it here finally. So it's something I will gladly put into the ultimate playlist, and this is obviously going to be my crown jewel, far better sounding than any of the other bootleg versions we have. As far as the performance goes, it's a good, solid performance at this point. Is there a performance other people might enjoy better from the tours that we've heard? Maybe. They're all kind of pretty similar to me. I didn't see anything specifically that this one did so much better than the other one, or the other ones did so much better that I would challenge me wanting to sacrifice the sound quality we got here. So I'm happy with this. Hangman, there you go. That's where we go with that. All right, next up, I'm a Man. So go find that in the Google Doc. Pause me, listen to it, and come back for more. All right, so this is actually going to be closer to a full episode instead of being a revisited episode here, because I'm the Man I only mentioned before during the Day at the Races tour, like I said previously, because that's one of the times the band did cover it, so I mentioned it. I mentioned it alongside Mannish Boy for a reason, because this song is a Bo Diddley song. Elias McDaniel, better known as Bo Diddley, wrote this song, but he was inspired first by Muddy Waters' 1954 song, Hoochie Coochie Man. So 1955, Bo releases this version, which is a very faster speed version, upbeat rock style, most notably covered by the Yardbirds. And then, not to be outdone, Muddy Waters recorded an answer song, titled Manish Boy in 1955. So it's kind of funny if you look at Queen bootlegs over the years from the 1976, 77 concerts where Queen performed, some of them would give the title song Manish Boy, some would call it I'm a Man. And the reason why that is because basically Queen's version, especially this one specifically, would sound a little like both. It would sound a little like almost like a mashed up version of it. Speaking about this version in particular, it opens up, it's a kind of a gritty, bluesier rock version. Even the Yardbird version, honestly, it's definitely grittier. I don't mean just the sound quality. But it starts off the slower version, that's Hoochie Coochie Man style. It starts off with that Muddy Waters slow version. But then by the time they get to the end, they really speed it up to the more familiar I'm a Man tempo, which is the Bo Diddley version, and it picks up from there. Now, as far as this version goes, I didn't give you the credits like I usually do, so I'm out of my game during these revisiting. And the credits are actually one of the more interesting parts of this version, or of this song, rather. The credits are interesting because this concert that this is recorded from, Imperial College, August of 1970, recently unearthed in the last few years by the band. It was hoped that we might get the whole concert at some point, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to be all we're going to get. You know what? I'm happy we got at least these two songs. But from that date, August of 1970, that predates John Deacon on bass. So it's the only official recording of the Freddie Mercury Queen era with John Deacon not playing bass. You have Freddie Mercury on the vocals, Roger Taylor on drums, Brian May on guitar, and Barry Mitchell does the bass. Barry Mitchell is one of a handful of bassists that kind of played with the band between the Smile and Queen era before John Deacon joined and solidified the effort. And I mean, they played like a handful of gigs, so it's hard to even say like they were really full-time members. I mean, I think Barry Mitchell played a couple of gigs, Doug Bogie played a couple of gigs, Mike Rose played a couple of gigs, but they settled down with John Deacon, and when that lineup was solidified, that was the Queen lineup for the rest of the time until Freddie Mercury's passing in 1991. And then even after that, it was until about 1997, and then until Queen and Paul Rodgers teamed up as a new entity. We'll talk about that later in 2004. Let's get into this, though. This is a great thing to have. I love the fact that we get the young boys, our young band playing at their youngest, rawest, and still developing selves. Now, the sound quality is not the greatest. It is from a cassette tape. One of the reasons why I think we're never going to get it. One of the reasons I'm actually surprised we got as many as we did. The band doesn't like to release anything that's not really good sound quality, and the cassette is not that. But it is important, historically speaking, and for archive purposes. So I'm glad we have this, and I happily will put this into our ultimate playlist. Now, how about the performance? It's a good performance. It's a fun performance. It's it's not the most tight performance. The band had not been performing together very long. It is not an original song. It's the band just kind of covering a bluesy rock song. It does make it easier for Barry Mitchell. Barry Mitchell does play this stuff more than the Queen-like stuff. In fact, that's why Barry Mitchell actually quit the band. He didn't like the direction the band was going. I think he liked the more standard, straight-ahead, bluesier rock stuff. So he does a great job here, for sure. Despite the sound quality, we still got a hint of the future Queen because Roger Taylor has still got some powerful drum work here. Brian got some great guitar work. They interplay with each other and with Barry very well. Freddie's vocals are in front of it all, and he seems like he's having a good time. He's having a fun time putting forth this in front of probably a lesser audience compared to what he's going to be performing. This is not Live Aid for sure. This is not an arena. This is a college gig. But it's good to hear that like early Queen sound starting to come together as best we can with the, as far as the cassette version goes, right? So, as far as rating and ranking this goes, I mean, obviously this is the Crown Jewels, the only real version we have. I'm not going to count the different version medleys we have from the 1976 concerts, 77 concerts, I should say. So this is going to be it. As far as giving it a scale of 1 to 11, because I always turn things up to 11 here on PLD Projects, I'll give this a 6.5. It's a solid version of the song. Queen has never been a blues rock band. They have some tracks that lean that way, but there's other bands who do blues rock better. The band always did much better with a more theatrical, more camp, more straightforward hard rock. They could handle blues, but it's not their forte. And so with that in mind, do you want to listen to the Yardbird version? You want to listen to the Queen version? They're both solid, but I'm going to give this one a 6.5 out of 11. All right, that's going to do it for this week, folks. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for sticking it out for the revisiting process. We are finally through with that, and now we will go back to our regularly scheduled program and back to our regularly scheduled type of episodes. The episodes where I'm going to give you the track, I'll give you the credits on it, I'm going to give you notes, any quotes we have about the song. We're going to listen to different versions of those songs, and we'll move forward. We're going to move from 1970 and from 1973 to 1980. We're into the 80s now. It's going to be a lot of fun there. I had a lot of fun getting to there. I was happy to pause it. I was happy to get this box set. And I'll gladly do it again when Queen 2 comes out so we can revisit those tracks, including See What a Fool I've Been, like I mentioned previously. But that's neither here nor there. It is time to go back to where we were, back to the future, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're with me, and I hope you like what you hear. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, leave some comments, help us fight Al Gore's evil rhythm. And we have a Patreon where you can get these episodes early. I get them up almost a week early, sometimes in this case, probably 2 or 3 weeks early, depending on when I finish this up. But that's it's awesome if you guys can do that. If not, I completely understand. But share, like, subscribe. Let everyone know what's out there. Let me know what you think. What do you think your crown jewel version of songs are? I love discussing things with the fans, other fellow fans of the band. So let me know you're out there. Until next week, I hope you're a man or a woman. I hope you avoid the Hangman, and you stick around next week where we go back to the Flash Gordon soundtrack in the Death Cell Love Theme Reprise, written by Roger Taylor. All right, guys, take care. See you soon.